Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm gonna be talking about Mars in Cancer today. My girlfriend has this placement in the 12th house, so I'm not gonna try and project too much of that into what I'm channeling. At the same time, I think I have some really intimate insights about how this Mars sign operates. But I guess I just want to keep that in mind. Sometimes it's hard for me to filter it out when I have a really close relationship to it, but I'm going to do my best. Um, I am finished pretty much with my March um, guidance forecast, and I'm just working with my editor right now to get that up. I should be up before the 25th of this month. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, it's $5. And it's just a really extensive breakdown of March 2018, all the sign shifts, lunar events, and kind of what you can expect from the energy. And it's really awesome. And for April, we've got a lunar forecast lined up from somebody that reached out to me through here. So that's really exciting and cool. If you're interested in that project, you can find it through my website, which is indigohealing.online. And I'll put the link in the description. So enough of an intro. We're talking about Mars in Cancer. So Mars in Cancer is a bit of a difficult placement to have. It's not going to provide you with the most easy flow and access to energy. I find that Mars typically has a harder time in the water signs, besides Scorpio, and it's slower. It is a very patient sign, but it's someone that has a hard time manifesting that Mars part of themselves. And in a way, it's very hidden and very private and very slow and very nurturing. And those are beautiful qualities, but Mars doesn't really know how to focus itself through that a lot of the times. So this is someone who might not be as physically active as other people, at least like on a pretty consistent basis. They might have a hard time motivating to do stuff, especially if they are emotional, because in order for a Mars in Cancer to want to get up and do something, they need to be emotionally invested in it. And another thing that Mars in Cancer is pretty prone to is getting other people to do things. And because Cancer is kind of a managerial energy, but it can also be like a little bit manipulative. And sometimes it can be lazy, to be honest. And so when you have your Mars in Cancer, it might be so much easier for you to be like, hey, can you do this thing for me? Or, oh man, like, can you cover my shift today? Or, hey, if you're already up, can it's just like these little things that, like, if they can sense that someone else can do a task for them instead of them, they'll find a way to, like, emotionally manipulate that person into doing it for them. That sounds really bad. It's just kind of something that happens. They're not really trying to negatively impact anyone. They're trying to be efficient with their own energy and kind of spare what they have because it's limited. So if they sense that someone can do something for them and it doesn't bother them, then they're going to go for it. Though this can definitely cause conflicts, they can be a bit commanding and a bit controlling, especially over other people's emotions, while being extremely defensive of their own emotions. Wow, yeah, Mars in Cancer is one of the most defensive signs that you can get. If they are feeling some type of a way and you try to pry into why they're feeling it or make them feel a different way or anything like that, they are going to completely tear you apart because it's very private. And that's where the warrior in them comes out, is they need to deal with stuff on their own. They need privacy, they need space, they need trust, they need boundaries and walls and everything like that. These tend to be pretty private people about certain things in their life. They can be one to hold a grudge for sure. they feel their emotions really deeply and kind of in their body, and it also directs their actions. So they take their actions based on how they're feeling, or non-actions based on how they're feeling. Which is why it's difficult to have Cancer Mars, because it's not a consistent placement. Cancer is always changing, so your energy levels are really going to fluctuate and be highly dependent on your mood, and that's not something you can always predict and stuff like that. So it can be really hard for you to know how to plan stuff out in the future, because it's kind of based on a now moment. Like when someone asks you, do you want to go hiking tomorrow, you're going to probably need to wait until you feel how you wake up in the morning and the kind of energy that you have on that day. So that could be a little bit hard to manage, not really knowing where anything's coming from. You can get kind of depressed if you feel like you aren't helping and you don't have any kind of a reason or contribution. Cancers need to be assisting in things and have a purpose and have a role in life, or they'd feel kind of useless, and that is something that will spiral them into depression like nothing else. And I believe that Mars in your chart, if you are depressed, your Mars isn't functioning properly. So if you are Cancer Mars and you've just been feeling really sad and kind of hopeless and everything like this, it might not come as the most natural thing to do, but help somebody else. Reach out to people, see what you can do, maybe volunteer, maybe take an extra shift on, even if you're exhausted. It's better to be out and doing something instead of kind of like stewing in your feelings. Cancer Mars is somebody that's going to get a lot of emotional healing through exercise and through physical actions. And even though, like I said before, they don't always have access to a lot of physical energy, if you feel in the mood to exercise and be outside and move around, definitely capitalize it, because those opportunities aren't going to come all the time. And you're someone that really needs to move to get the feelings out. Mars and Cancer definitely needs to like go on a run if they're feeling excessively angry and they have no other way to get it out, or just dance or run around or box or do something. Like, it has to be physically expressed out of your body. Otherwise, you're going to internalize it, which is something that Cancer does, which isn't a bad quality to like internalize things. But when you consistently internalize negative emotions, that's going to make you sick, and it's going to not give you a positive experience of your reality. And this is something that Cancerian energy, for some reason, tends to do a lot. And I think it's because they see a negative emotion coming from themselves or in the environment or something like that, and kind of like an oyster, they take it and they try to fix it and turn it into something good. But sometimes they just get so clogged up. They're trying to provide a service by not expressing any of their negative feelings, but they end up bottling it up, and it's going to come out anyway. So Cancers out there in general, and especially Cancer Mars, if you have a negative feeling, try to transmute it into a positive feeling. Try addressing it for a little bit. If you need to do that in private, because Cancer's main concern is when they're in a bad mood, that it's gonna piss everyone else off and that they're gonna look like an asshole and all this self-conscious stuff. So if you need to take a moment to go somewhere else and feel bad and feel sad and feel mad for a second, that's going to save you a lot of trouble in the future, and it won't make you so sick and congested with things, and you'll have more room to actually deal with your feelings. Cancer Mars is a sign that typically doesn't want to deal with their feelings. They want to just kind of charge through it. They might be someone that gets angry as a emotional response more quickly than any other kind of emotion. It's really just a defense mechanism. This person will probably have a lot of defense mechanisms. Cancer has a vulnerable side, but when you put Mars there, it's very rare. They have to let both their Mars and their Cancer guards down at the same time for them to truly be vulnerable, which does happen, but it's something that probably not a lot of people in their lives will see, and it might only happen when they feel weak, or just really tired, or they finally feel comfortable and trusting enough. But as soon as they get any hint of danger, they're going to throw it back up. So it's a very limited thing for them. Um, it's not like I want to pity this sign. It's hard to have. It's hard to have as a Mars sign. It's not easy to deal with. Everyone's got that one placement in their chart that gives them a lot of grief. And if you have this, it might be that case for you. Um, if you have this placement, I would love to hear about how it affects you, how you deal with it. If you know someone that has this sign, please share your experience with them. And if I'm missing anything, because these are just really general observations, I love reading what you guys have to say about it. So I'm going to continue the Mars series. I think I already did Leo like a really long time ago. So I guess I'm going to move into Virgo Mars pretty soon. I think someone asked me to do Aquarius. I don't really remember. If you guys have been following me for a while and you really love my work, please check out my forecast. I really love it. I'm really proud of it, and it's growing so much every day. I think that it really could benefit a lot of people. And I'm looking for support. I'm looking for feedback, to be completely honest. It's just kind of like an art project of mine, and no hard feelings if it's not your thing, but I'm working hard on it. So, all right, I love you guys, and I'll be back soon.